What if Tatsumaki was Deku's mother? Chapter 5. Deku sat alone in his room, holding his head. So much had happened recently. Finding out that his mother had been lying to him his entire life, and that All Might was his father. Deku understood why she did it, but couldn't get rid of the aching frustration in his heart. Deku thought about all the fun times he had missed out on. His heart just kind of felt hollow. Far away, Tornado's sister, Fubuki, was doing some paperwork at her hero agency. She turned to her assistant and floated over some documents. "Sharon, could you please take these down to legal? I need..." She was cut off when she felt something from inside her office. "I've got a meeting I need to go to," she said. Her assistant walked off and Fubuki took a deep breath, pushing her door open. "Hello, sister," she said. Tornado sat in a chair facing Fubuki's desk. "Morning, Fubuki," Tornado said. Fubuki noticed the solemn look on her face. Tornado never showed this kind of vulnerability. It was always a cold detachment or a look of superiority. "What's going on?" Fubuki asked. Fubuki walked over to her desk and sat in her chair. She was the number 7 hero, so she had quite the nice office. Not as nice as her sisters, however. "Izuku, he knows," Tornado said. "Knows what?" Fubuki said. Tornado looked her sister in the eyes. "He knows about All Might," Tornado said. "Oh, that," said Fubuki. "He says he doesn't hate me, but I see it in his eyes. He resents me," Tornado said. "I'm not surprised, but don't worry. Izuku's a good-natured kid. I'm sure he'll figure it out, and he'll be back to normal," said Fubuki. "Yeah, I hope so," said Tornado. Tornado stood up and began walking to the balcony. "Thanks for keeping my secret," said Tornado. "Please, I know better than piss you off and spilling your secrets," said Fubuki. Tornado opened the door and flew off. Fubuki walked over and watched her sister fly away. "Take care, sister. And Izuku, I hope you're okay," said Fubuki. The next day, Deku sat in class. After their normal lessons, Aizawa came in, putting up a graph on the board. "We'll be starting internships in the next week. This will allow you to get real experience and gain contacts that you'll use for the rest of your career," said Aizawa. Aizawa began passing out papers. The sports festival allowed heroes to agencies all over the world to see what you can do and send in requests to go to their agencies. For your internships, you may choose from one of those that have given you offers, said Aizawa. Deku looked at his paper. At the top of the page was his mother's agency. "Is this your way of reaching out?" Deku asked himself. He crossed out her name and looked at the rest of the list. The day continued on, and Deku was unable to choose. He'd gotten an invitation from his aunt Fubuki, but didn't know how much he could learn from her. She admitted herself that I'm stronger than her. Maybe I should pay her a visit anyway. It's been a while, said Deku. Deku was walking to lunch when All Might ran out in front of him. "Young Midoriya, can I have a moment of your time?" said All Might. "Sure, what's up?" said Deku. The two walked into a side room. "You've received an offer from my old teacher," said All Might. Deku was surprised. "Why me?" asked Deku. "I believe it's because in my last letter to him I focused on the fact that I just found out that you are my son. I wanted his advice," said All Might. "So what? He wants to see what kind of kid you made?" asked Deku. "I don't know, but I do know that there isn't any better teacher of how to control One for All than him. He trained me and was good friends with my master," said All Might. Deku smiled. "You think you can help me use my flicker of One for All?" asked Deku. "If anyone can, he is the one," said All Might. Deku smirked. "Thank you," said Deku. "You should know that he has also requested young Ashido. I hope that won't be an issue," asked All Might. "No, don't worry. Our relationship is much more stable recently," said Deku. Deku walked off, but stopped a few meters away. "Is this like me meeting my grandfather?" asked Deku. All Might let out a small chuckle and put his hand on Deku's shoulder. "In a way," said All Might. All Might smiled, looking into his son's eyes. Slowly he crouched down, so he was at Deku's height. I'm so happy that you are my son. You are so strong, but more than that, you are kind and have a heroic heart. I couldn't be more proud of you, said All Might. A small tear formed in All Might's eyes as he saw Deku's eyes go wide. A small smile spread across Deku's face as he hugged All Might. Thanks. That means a lot, said Deku. A week went past, and Ashido and Deku were standing in front of Gran Torino's door. Do we just knock? Asked Ashido. I guess, said Deku. Deku used his powers to push the doorbell. Are you sure we got the right place? Asked Deku. You are welcome to check the map, said Ashido. Deku saw the door slightly open and pushed it open using his powers. Do you have to use your quirk for everything? Asked Ashido. What are you talking about? I'm walking, aren't I? Could have flown here and left you alone, said Deku. Deku let out a small laugh but stopped when he saw Ashido's shocked face. He looked where she was looking and saw Gran Torino lying on the floor, dead. The two young heroes screamed, hugging each other. I'm alive, said Gran Torino. The two heroes screamed again. A few moments later, Deku and Ashido calmed down and let go of each other. The old man was eccentric but ruthless. He immediately started the two on a grueling exercise regiment. So you two are the ones who are supposed to succeed All Might. You aren't that impressive, said Gran Torino. Gran Torino shot around the room and kicked the two of them in the back of the head. He then shot around, hitting them both in the gut. You, Ashido, 50 laps around the building. You would be much stronger if you want to use All Might's power. You, Midoriya, you have one of the strongest lineages in the world, and yet you can't even block an old man, said Gran Torino. Gran Torino shot around again, aiming to kick Deku in the face. Even when Deku put up a barrier, Gran Torino broke through it easily. Deku was thrown to the floor, sputtering. Ow! He's so strong, said Deku. No, I'm not. You're just weak. Your mother was much stronger than you when she was your age. Did you know she went toe-to-toe with All Might in her sports festival? From what I'm seeing, you're just a pale imitation, said Gran Torino. Why am I so weak? Asked Deku. Gran Torino smirked. He was waiting for that question. Your mind is in turmoil. Your power comes from your mental strength, as well as your natural power. Right now, you have a weak mind, so your powers are weak. What is troubling you? Asked Gran Torino. Gran Torino sat down, eating a fish cake. I just found out All Might is my dad, and my mum's been lying to me my whole life, said Deku. So? said Gran Torino. Huh? It's a big deal, said Deku. How? Asked Gran Torino. She lied to me and stole my time with my father from me, said Deku. Why? Asked Gran Torino. She said it was to protect me from villains who would hurt me to get to All Might, said Deku. Then get over it, said Gran Torino. Deku looked at the old man, confused. Wait, what? Asked Deku. Tell me, kid, after you found out, has she hidden any other details from you? Asked Gran Torino. No, she's told me everything, said Deku. Did she stop you from talking to All Might in any way after you found out? Asked Gran Torino. No, she didn't, said Deku. Then what is the issue? Young man, she made a mistake and she knows it. But living in the past won't change anything, said Gran Torino. Deku didn't say anything. Look at me. I'm an old man, so when I tell you that life is short, you should believe me. You can't live in the past, otherwise you'll miss what is happening in front of you, said Gran Torino. Deku looked up, seeing Ashido run past the window. Deku smiled a little bit. All you can do is take lessons from the past. Take the failings of those who come before you and learn from them, but don't live there, otherwise you will live full of regrets and resentment, said Gran Torino. That actually really helps, said Deku. Gran Torino stood up. The young lady should be finished soon, so we can begin the real training, said Gran Torino. At that moment, Ashido walked in, through the door panting. She collapsed on the sofa, groaning. Perfect, you are warmed up. Let's go to training, said Gran Torino. Ashido glared at the old man and slowly rolled off the sofa onto the floor. As I observed in the sports festival, you can artificially increase the gravity on someone, can't you, Midoriya? Asked Gran Torino. Yeah, I can, said Deku. Ashido rubbed her neck, remembering the feeling of being crushed. Good. Do it on Ashido, said Gran Torino. The two young heroes looked at the old man in shock. Are you crazy? That could kill her, said Deku. Hey, I handled it fine last time, said Ashido. Gran Torino chuckled. Not at full power, of course. I just want you to increase the gravity on her. Young Ashto, power up to your maximum, said Gran Torino. Ashto powered up to 5%, and Gran Torino smirked. Good. Now, Midoriya, slowly increase the gravity on her and stop when she can't handle any more, said Gran Torino. Deku held out his hand and his eyes glowed green. Slowly, Ashto was wrapped in a green aura, and the two smiled at each other. Suddenly, Ashto fell down to one knee. Are you okay? Asked Deku. Yeah, sorry, I just got a bit distracted for a second, said Ashto. Ashto got to her feet and hopped up and down. Hey, this is pretty easy. How much gravity is this? Asked Ashto. Oh, it's 1.5 times normal, said Deku. Ashto's face fell flat. She was hoping for more. You ready for more? Asked Deku. Yeah, give it to me, said Ashto. Deku put out a little bit more energy, and Ashto got into a stance to keep her balance. You're at 3G now, said Deku. I can handle a little bit more, said Ashto. Deku pushed up to 3.5 and Gran Torino smiled. Good. Now you will train under that force. Begin with some press-ups, said Gran Torino. Ashto got down on the ground, but she was barely able to do 10 press-ups. Jesus, this is hard, said Ashto. I can lower the gravity if you want, said Deku. No, I need to get stronger, said Ashto. Midoriya, now we'll address your training. Follow me. Ashto, come with us, said Gran Torino. The three of them walked out of the building and down the street. While this was easy for Deku and Gran Torino, Ashto was struggling with each step. After about 10 minutes, they came to a car scrapping site. Okay, release Ashto for a minute whilst I explain your task, said Gran Torino. Deku decreased the gravity on Ashto and she flopped to the floor exhausted. Your job is to crush all of these cars here using your quirk, said Gran Torino. That's not too bad. Deku was cut off when Gran Torino kept talking. You will crush the entire lot of cars at once, and only after you've stripped out each part. Every screw must be removed and organised. You must also keep all the cars in the air whilst you take them apart. You cannot break anything until you've removed everything that can be removed, said Gran Torino. Oh no, said Deku. You will also be helping with Ashto's training by maintaining the gravity as she needs, and increasing it whenever needed. This training will increase your power and precision. This will also improve your ability to divide a problem. I noticed in the sports festival that you struggled whenever you had to do multiple things at once. This will improve that weakness, said Gran Torino. There's 100 cars here. It will take me forever, said Deku. 124 actually, and I guess that means you have to hurry up and get started, said Gran Torino. Deku and Ashto gulped. I wonder if it's too late to go to my mother's agency, asked Deku. Now, get to work, said Gran Torino. Deku held out one hand, and all the cars rose up off the ground and into the air. He then held another hand towards Ashto, increasing the gravity on her. For the rest of the day, the two young heroes worked and broke through their limits. Whenever they felt their body was about to give up, the other would scream at them to keep going. Meanwhile, Gran Torino sat back, eating some pastries. You have some good kids here, Toshi. Good job, said Gran Torino. Suddenly, the old hero saw something that annoyed him, and he shot over, kicking Deku in the head. What did I do wrong? Asked Deku. Gran Torino picked up a screw that he just removed and showed Deku that he accidentally broke it when removing it. This requires focus. Focus, boy, said Gran Torino. The old man went back to where he was and sat back down as Deku continued. To be fair, he's organising everything very well, said Gran Torino. Gran Torino looked over at the perfectly stacked tyres, boxes of different types of screws all separated correctly and all the other parts perfectly sorted. He then looked over at Ashto, who was now starting to look a little bit too light on her feet. Midoriya, what gravity are you putting on Ashto right now? Said Gran Torino. 3.5 times normal, said Deku. Put it up to 4.5, said Gran Torino. Ashto looked over with pleading eyes, but the old man didn't care. Soon darkness came, but neither of the young heroes could get the energy to move back to the house. Fine, I'll call a taxi. You have done well today, said Gran Torino. The rest of the week was pretty much the same. At first light, they would walk down to the scrapyard and would begin their hellish training. They would have a quick break for lunch, and they would keep going until the sunset. At the end of the particularly difficult day of training, Deku was finally ready to crush the cars. He looked over to Gran Torino with an excited smile, and the old man gave him a small nod. Instantly the cars were flattened and were stacked in a neat pile. Deku turned, seeing Ashido barely standing in 7 times normal gravity. The pink hero looked over to Gran Torino with pleading eyes, and he nodded to Deku. Deku released her, and she collapsed to the ground. Congratulations, your training is complete. Tomorrow I want you to rest throughout the day. Do whatever you want, just take it easy, because in the afternoon we'll be going on patrol, said Gran Torino. The two smiled at the thought of rest. They had fun the next day. Mostly they just sat around talking and watching movies on their phones with each other. Ashido had claimed the double bed in the spare bedroom, so Deku had been sleeping on the sofa this past week. They were both laying next to each other in the bed on their fronts watching another movie on Deku's phone when Ashido suddenly spoke up. "Do you like me?" asked Ashido. Deku froze. How does he answer that? He slowly turned, facing Ashido. "Of course I do. You're a good friend, and I like everyone in our class," said Deku. Ashido went a little pinker. "That's not what I mean," said Ashido. "Oh," said Deku. "It's just something Bakugo said during the sports festival," said Ashido. Deku gulped. "Oh my god. No. What did he say?" thought Deku. "He said you like me?" asked Ashido. "Oh, well," said Deku. There was a small moment of silence before a loud bang came out of Deku's phone. Suddenly, something had exploded in the movie they were watching. Ashido looked at Deku's blushing face, and smiled. Don't worry about it. Let's keep watching." The day rolled by. They were really happy to relax because they were so tired from the training. When the sun set, Deku and Ashido put on their hero costumes and set off to the train station with Gran Torino. End of Chapter 5.